Ladies and gentlemen, come on, man. Here's the deal. Come on, man. If you only watch 1 minute of this 1 hour live stream, Michael Flynn was framed and set up. They needed a pretext to go after Michael Flynn. The pretext was a call between Sergei Kislyak, the Russian ambassador, to Michael Flynn. There was absolutely nothing illegal. They didn't go after Michael Flynn with the Logan Act because they knew that they couldn't. Almost certainly they knew that President Obama's officials had similar calls when they ran on a Russian reset. Michael Flynn allegedly lied to the FBI based on the 302s that are missing. He pled guilty because they were strong-arming and threatening his family and threatening him. The FBI, at times, has been known to do this. They now found information stating that because James Clapper stated there was only moderate to high confidence that Russia hacked the DNC and that Russia wanted Trump over Clinton, because they're not certain about anything. Because James Clapper and Brennan and Comey and Strzok and McCabe utilized a sealed dossier purchased by Hillary Clinton, literally, and the DNC, and a CrowdStrike assessment from a CEO that said he doesn't have concrete evidence that Russia hacked the DNC. These are not my words. This is congressional testimony that's out there already. There is no evidence that the United States government has that Russia wanted Trump. It's all conjecture. It's all circumstantial evidence in their view, because why would Russia hack the DNC? Well, if they hacked the DNC, they would have hacked Clinton's servers with top secret and special access program intelligence that were somehow ingeniously transferred or migrated or placed onto servers outside of the United States government. So Michael Flynn's transcripts are being reviewed by John Bash. This exonerates Flynn even further. The transcripts show a patriot, a noble general, who is asking America's former, because they're really a former adversary. They're not a current adversary. They're a current adversary only in the minds of Democrats who don't care that they presided over a sale. President Obama did not veto a sale of 20% of U.S. uranium capacity. Whether it's 20% or 2% or 5%, 1%, anything above 0% of U.S. uranium capacity, no president in U.S. history would have failed to veto. So he had calls as the incoming national security advisor, not, a person at Subway who's making your sandwich, or you or me or anyone who's a private citizen. Okay, the Logan Act is for private citizens who are not in government any longer. Michael Flynn was an incoming national security advisor. Okay, you don't go to you go to Subway, you get a sandwich. You don't go, a little bit more mayo and no mustard. And oh, by the way, don't speak to that ambassador and try to reverse U.S. foreign policy. Thanks. President Trump came in. He won because people wanted a reversal of foreign policy. That's one of the reasons he won. They were tired of the quagmires, the counterinsurgency conflicts, the failed interventions, the failed Max Boot, Bill Kristol, establishment Democrat, Republican foreign policy. That is why President Trump won. People have a hard time understanding why President Trump won. By the way, subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel, Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, hello. Share my Times of Israel article and my Huffington Post articles below in the pinned comment. Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. That is in the Huffington Post. 2017, Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. It will not be Biden. It will absolutely not be Biden. And my Times of Israel article, that is was published the other day. Hillary Clinton, not Biden, will be nominee. All of this, ladies and gentlemen, is because of a political machine that is slowly losing influence, slowly losing political power, and they're like a cornered creature. They don't know what to do. So they engage in this hyperbolic nonsense where Michael Flynn colluded with the Russian ambassador. No, he did not collude. John Bash will see that. He had every right to ask for basically what he said is, if you're going to retaliate, because President Obama, interestingly enough, waited until the last second to engage in retaliatory endeavors or retaliatory behavior towards, thank you, Dine and Deny, thank you, towards retaliatory behavior towards Russia for it hacking the DNC. The only problem was the United States never looked at DNC servers. CrowdStrike looked at DNC servers. The rebuttal was, well, CrowdStrike gave perfect copies, pristine copies of DNC servers to the United States government. Now, the CrowdStrike CEO says we didn't have concrete evidence. So it had no concrete evidence. And people on the left are talking about this. This is an article in the Gray Zone. We do not have concrete evidence. Okay, that's what the CrowdStrike CEO, quote, we did not have concrete evidence that alleged Russian hackers actually took emails. So there's circumstantial evidence, but no evidence that they were actually infiltrated. So they talk about fantasies and how Trump doesn't tell the truth. They haven't told the truth from day one about anything. Michael Flynn is an honorable man. You can disagree with politics all you want, but one thing I try not to do is I don't really engage in hyperbole. Now, when I say something, I back it up. For example, Clinton did commit crimes. It is impossible to transfer top secret and special access program intelligence from the United States government onto servers. That is not hyperbole to say that Madam Secretary committed crimes. Whether or not there was intent is an issue that Comey made up. The reason he said that there was no intent is because if there was intent, it would be a major crime. But of course, there was intent. The issue is that a crime took place and no reasonable prosecutor could indict, according to Comey. Anyway, the whole thing's nonsense to begin with. This whole charade, this whole election is almost working out exactly the way I've said it's going to be. They're going to get even more maniacal people. You have no idea. The thing that's going to save this country is that I don't really care, and you don't really care what your family members or friends or what Democrats, they could go ahead and worship a statue of Hillary Clinton all day, all night. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what they do. They care what you and I do. They care desperately what you and I do. I don't care. To my super chat, by the way, thank you very much for supporting my voice. But the issue is that Michael Flynn, they needed a pretext. They needed a reason to go after President Trump. So they meet with Michael Flynn on the high to moderate confidence that something might have happened. Not a break-in in the DNC like Watergate. Not servers with top secret intelligence on them that just miraculously got there, like through, messenger pigeon. Something might have happened. And the CrowdStrike CEO that was literally outsourced, given money given money by the DNC and Clinton, they said that something happened. And there was a dossier, by the way, that was literally purchased by Hillary Clinton and the DNC. Clinton didn't outsource CrowdStrike, the DNC did. Either way, it's a conflict of interest. You don't allow a political party to outsource its own basis for an investigation. Then they say, well, we're going to fly to London and speak to Alexander Downer or speak to British intelligence. What do I care what any intelligence agency says about anything? No offense to British intelligence, but I don't care what any intelligence agency says. What do I care? We were tipped off. U.S. intelligence was tipped off by other countries. Really? They were tipped off? No way. We only spent $30 billion to get tipped off by other people? Yeah, they were tipped off. And Alexander Downer had a drinking evening with George Papadopoulos, where Trump's campaign official Papadopoulos stated that he knew of the DNC emails. How did he know before they were even hacked? I don't know. How did Alexander Downer know? Because apparently George Papadopoulos never told Downer anything. So the only person who could have known was Downer. Or maybe everyone's lying. But this implicates, the whole George Papadopoulos thing implicates Alexander Downer and FBI agents like, there's a whole bunch of them you never heard of, like Klein Smith and all these people. Then there's Carter Page. Then they had a warrant to surveil Carter Page on a FISA application where they lied to the judge 17 different times. I mean, it's pretty obvious what's going on. But again, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen before the election. November is not going to be a fun time for Democrats. November is not going to be a fun time. It's not going to be a really amusing time. But you have a situation, people, where, look, this country has a horrible, horrible problem, has had a horrible problem with issues pertaining to race. We have, no matter what the reasoning was, whether it took them, because in the tape, one of the officers says, we tried for 10 minutes. It doesn't matter if it was 10 hours. You cannot put your knee or your foot on someone's neck, and if they're asking to breathe, you cannot keep your neck. You cannot keep your foot or knee on someone's neck. It can't happen. And so, Democrat Senator Amy Klobuchar refused to prosecute. So this all goes back to Democrats. You have a Justin Trudeau wannabe as mayor. You have a governor literally asking for the National Guard. And so this is all, the Democrats own this. Own this. Big time. But again, it's Trump's tweets. Everything's Trump's tweets. Divert to Trump. Divert to Trump's personality or his tweets. So, at the end of the day, November, they're not going to... Okay, Democrats need to generate enthusiasm. They need to generate tremendous enthusiasm. I am voting for President Trump, and I'm telling my viewers to vote for President Trump, not because of any hyperbole, because I can back up anything. I don't say that Democrats are the reincarnation of every despot on the planet, but they live, the left and Democrats the left and Democrats need to view Trump as the embodiment of everything vile. They need to obsess over everything he says. Like, I don't really care. I know that Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee, which will be the biggest political call of all time. And then everyone will say, they knew it, Eric H526, thank you. Thank you. Luke St. Martin, thank you. Thank you both. But, like, I don't really obsess over them. People say that I do, but I don't. I just know that what's happening is not... What's taking place is that the people who voted in 2016, who were lifelong Democrats, are now maniacal and absolutely rabid. And not even all of them will show up to the polls. You need massive and monumental voter turnout for Democrats to win. And even when they outspend a Republican 2-1, like Beto O'Rourke outspent Ted Cruz like almost 2-1. And didn't win, but got close. Clinton outspent Trump literally 2-1. Didn't win. Sparky! When I was a kid, most police protected and served the public. Now, they're roided out. See, the public is an enemy combatant. Sparky! In many cases, that's true. In a lot of cases, it's not. I think that what Sparky, what happened in Minneapolis, in my view, was a murder of George Floyd. And what happened with Eric Garner in New York was the same thing. But Democrats in New York did not press charges against the law enforcement officials who did that to Eric Garner. But they are pressing charges now. And rightfully so, in my view. You can't do that. You can't do that. This is not, you can't live. This happened, by the way, in a Democratic machine stronghold. Minnesota has not voted Republican since 1972. Okay, Democrats can try to turn this, make this into Trump. This is not about Trump. So Sparky, I do agree with you to a great extent. Not they're bad apples. There are bad apples everywhere. I respect law enforcement. I've known former FBI agents, great people. So there are great people at the FBI. But you know what? Then there's Comey, there's Strzok, McCabe, and then on a more horrific level, there's that officer in Minneapolis. You should be taught. It's one thing to control the situation. So you always you want to control the situation. Octavio Sandoval, will you be a guest on the Dan Bongino Show? I would love to. I would absolutely love to. It's contactgoodman78@gmail.com. So, Octavio Sandoval, thank you. I would absolutely love to. Anybody can reach me at contactgoodman78@gmail.com. That's my email address. You can go to the, it's basically below in the pinned comment and description of all my segments. So I like Dan Bongino a lot. I think he's awesome. So Octavio Sandoval, thank you. Thank you. Sparky, I agree. My whole thing is that the issue that took place is not only a Democratic issue. Obviously, it's a Republican issue, too. It happens in red states also. Lately, though, these things have been taking place more often in blue states, whether it's Baltimore or you see now in Minneapolis, New York City. You have to teach law enforcement. It's one thing to control a situation, and I understand that. If you have to be rough to control the situation, fine. But you need to allow people to breathe. And we should have learned as a nation from Eric Garner. God bless his family. James Gray, you know the thing, James. You know the thing, James. Lisa Lister! Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for always watching. Thank you for always watching, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Lisa, be here in November. I know you will. James Gray, you know the thing. Please be here in November. Sparky, be here in November. Octavio Sandoval, be here in November. November is going to be a really fun month. Do you understand something? I am telling everyone, Lisa, thank you so very much. Lisa, James, everyone here, do not under any circumstances get into a debate or a discussion with anyone you know about President Trump. Don't do it. 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 Do not do it. Do not do it. I am telling you. Lisa Lister, thank you. I am telling you. Do not do it. I don't care. Just whatever they say, ignore it. Ignore it. Trump is... Ignore it. Lisa, thank you again, Lisa. Lisa Lister. Son of it! We as a society need to start getting brutal with cops. Force is the only. Well, Sandiford, I disagree with that. I think that laws and training. You would think that Keith Ellison is Attorney General. Look, it should be taught. Sandiford, thank you. It should be taught that you cannot brutalize a citizen, and by the way, like $20 forgery or selling cigarettes. This is not if you're catching someone committing a violent crime with a knife or some kind of weapon or a firearm that's illegally obtained and committing a crime, and you need to engage in some forceful tactics as a law enforcement official, fine. But not a citizen that's already not a threat and on the ground. That's my whole thing is, Sandiford and Sparky, my thing is you got to allow people to breathe. I mean, this is something that... this is I don't understand why the left wouldn't embrace the Second Amendment. That makes no sense to me. I don't understand that. But that's a whole other issue. So you say law enforcement officials are horrendous. They're bad apples that are absolutely horrendous. Really, in certain cases, criminals themselves. So you only allow the law enforcement officials to have the Second Amendment. Actually, when I got a death threat, I went to the LAPD, and God bless the officer who spoke to me. He actually basically said, Second Amendment, you know what to do. Basically said something to that effect, like, you know what to do. You know what you need to do to protect yourself. So I did. And that was the best thing he could have said to me. Because now, as a citizen, you can protect yourself as a citizen, but also if you're a law enforcement official needs to protect the life of you're innocent until proven guilty. So you have to be protected. Your life has to be protected. And if you are in a situation where you're already subdued, you cannot. And I saw the video again, and it was just too much. He was pleading for his life. It was too much. Lisa Lister, thank you again. He was pleading for his life, and it's too much. And in a blue state, a Democratic stronghold, Democratic machine, with all of this is 3 days after, by the way. Check out my segment on H.A. Goodman's other channel. 3 days after Biden said, you ain't black if you don't vote for Biden. And this happens. Democratic governor. And I saw this on Twitter. I don't have Twitter, as you know. I don't have Facebook, as you know. But on Twitter, somebody brought that up. Sparky! It's the system which makes cops that way. No, I agree with you, Sparky. I agree with you. The system allows for a whole lot of behavior like that. That's the problem. What happened with Freddie Gray, for example, those very dangerous, treacherous car rides were taking place frequently. So, Sparky, militarization of the police. Yeah, no, I agree. But I mean, it's not a Democrat-Republican thing, but only one side says you better vote for us and we're going to protect you and we're going to do this and that, and Republicans are the horrible people. And you have President Trump signing prison reform, and it's pretty unbelievable. I don't think that people know what the definition of a despot is. Okay, and you have what was it? Tim Walz, the governor of the Minnesota governor. Tim Walz is like every second begging for calm and talking about the National Guard and talking about, it's like, how is what he's saying different from what President Trump is saying? Everything's public relations to Democrats, but this is a horrendous tragedy that Democrats own. The country owns this, not just Democrat or Republican, but Democrats own this tragedy. And the reason they own this tragedy is because 3 days prior to George Floyd, Biden says, "Oh, well, you ain't black if you don't vote for me." This is a cruel irony. And in Minneapolis, Minnesota, a bastion of liberal politics. Just like with the woman with the mask with nobody around her, okay? Generally, a conservative woman wouldn't be wearing, or could, I don't know, but nobody around her, okay? And then threatening to call, actually lying to the police, and you could pretty much rest assured that person voted for Madam Secretary. But anyway, I mean, it's nice. Gingy Good Earth, SpaceX Dragon. I did a poem reading on floating on YouTube channel, Gingy Good Earth. That's awesome. I'm going to check that out. Awesome. Yeah, we have a big was it SpaceX launch today, and Lisa Lister, thank you again, Lisa. Thank you. Democrats are imploding, and the problem is the following. They don't see the world the way you do and I do. And see, here's the thing, like, I can critique President Trump. Like, I disagree actually with President Trump's latest, I guess, not sanctions, but his directives towards China, because I don't want a Cold War now with China, because we already have one with Russia because of Democrats. So we need to get the economy back going. We know what took place with this crisis. We know how it happened generally. But it's like, I can critique President Trump. Democrats cannot. There's no way that there's nothing that Democrats do to critique President Trump at all. It's just pure hyperbole, and that's it. Sandiford! I love Walt saying Trump is making things challenging, like him waiting as long as he did to do his job wasn't part of the problem. Exactly, Sandiford. Well, he has to say, Lisa, thank you. He has to say that. He has to say that because he's a good Democrat. And actually, he was on the phone with President Trump talking about the National Guard. Sandiford, thank you. They're always so two-faced. It's unbelievable. Sparky, yep, that's true. Sandiford, thank you. Luke St. Martin! I jumped on Parler or Parlay. I don't exactly know how it's pronounced. Parler a few days ago. Thank you, Luke, by the way, for being an amazing moderator, and thank you. Sharing your live streams on that platform. Thank you. Getting good responses. Thank you, Luke St. Martin. Lone Star Luke is my handle. Seems like a good platform to this point. Keep voicing the truth, brother. Thank you, Luke St. Martin. I'm kind of, I'm like really, 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 Luke, I'm really reticent or frightened or just reluctant to ever go on social media again, just because I don't. I'm sure it's great. Maybe one of these days I have to. I would definitely have to check out something other than Twitter or Facebook. Maybe that would be one of the platforms. Luke St. Martin, thank you not only for your generosity, but for being an amazing moderator. Always, along with Eric H526, Teresa King. Where is the ACLU? Since Minnesota's in turmoil. I don't know. Teresa, thank you. I don't know. This, in my view, is if this was a red state issue, you better believe. Lisa, thank you again. Luke St. Martin, thank you. Teresa, thank you. If this was a red state issue, you better believe that they would make this about a red state issue. They tried to with the current crisis. They couldn't. They tried desperately to, but half of all the lives lost are in 3 states. So around half of all the lives lost were in New York, New Jersey, and Michigan. And God bless the people of New York, New Jersey, and Michigan. Only the most amazing people live there. And if you add Illinois, another great state, but all Democrat. These are Democratic machines. 4 states. It's well over half. We have 50 states. So the issue, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you the only way to defeat President Trump is with voter turnout. The only way they get a little bit more voter turnout is with Hillary Clinton. Because she has the money, and she has a loyal fan base. The people propping up Biden are not Biden supporters. There is no Biden supporter. They don't exist. There is no such thing as a Biden supporter, because there never really has been, only in Delaware. Biden was picked as vice president because he has this he used to have this kind of amiable, salt of the earth, golly gee shucks, grounded. It's all an act anyway. This kind of personality where he's like this, really good person. Now he's turned into Tales from the Crypt that needs to touch everything and everyone. So, I mean, you've seen the hypocrisy in this election. The hypocrisy, it's unbelievable. It's completely unbelievable. Now, right when the crisis is subsiding, we're getting back to life back to normal. This happens in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. This is not what. First of all, a life was tragically taken, so that's the biggest issue. But from the Democratic Party's perspective, they can't blame this on Trump. Everyone knows. The 2 senators, the governor, and the mayor, the Justin Trudeau wannabe, all Democrats. Minnesota is a liberal bastion. It's a bastion of, it's like Minnesota and Seattle are probably the 2 most liberal places on the planet, or at least in the country. So, then you have Zinni! Well, Democrats, I don't know. The issue is that the Democratic Party has always marketed itself as a political party for the people. And media and Democrats have always kind of convinced voters that Republicans are, don't care about you. We care about you. So that's at least nowadays, maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago is a different story. But Sparky, Biden wiped out Ryan in 12 VP debate. Not the same. Not the same, Biden. Yeah, Paul Ryan is easily wiped out. Sparky, Biden, when he was younger, was probably a better politician. Maddie, UK deplorable. Maddie, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching in the UK. To my UK viewers, thank you. To my viewers in the UK and Australia, around the world, thank you so very much. Maddie, UK deplorable, thank you so very much. Thank you for watching. Be here, Maddie, for the live streams in November 3rd. November. Remember those monster truck commercials in the 80s? Sunday. Maddie, UK deplorable. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you for watching. Greatly appreciated. I'm always honored that I have viewers in other countries. It just makes me feel great, and I'm just very honored. Thank you, Maddie. November is going to be an interesting month, and it will be, to use a soccer or British football analogy, it will be like penalty kicks. It'll be like the last penalty kick where you have Jerry Nadler or you have Adam Schiff trying to, tie the score before, and if he doesn't, the other side wins, the other team wins. So Democrats have a penalty kick that they have to get into the goal. And if they don't, it's curtains. It is curtains. It's going to be the beginning of the end, ladies and gentlemen. It's already the beginning of the end for the Democratic Party, but they don't think that. They think that Trump is going down. He's not. Maddie, thank you. Luke St. Martin, thank you. Lisa Lister, thank you. Do-Re-Mi Music, Honolulu. Just woke up. 8 a.m. here. You're the first person I've heard to point out the Dems are running Minnesota. Vote out the Dems. Do-Re-Mi Music, Democratic mayor, Democratic governor, Democratic senators, Democratic, not just former DNC chair as Attorney General. You can't get more Democrat. Do-Re-Mi Music, thank you. As always, Tim Slater! What Trump has gone through is a political blitzkrieg. Yep. Tim! Thank you, Tim! The interesting thing is, Tim, that brings me to Maddie UK, thank you. Maddie UK deplorable, thank you. Tim, the interesting thing is that they, so many people, even a lot of conservatives who are not necessarily never Trumpers, but they just, Trump's personality is so horrible. He's just not a person you want to emulate. Okay, well, JFK consistently cheated on his wife, but aside from that, Trump is boorish, belligerent, in your face. How is he treated? How do Democrats treat from day one? What did Madonna say about the White House? From day one, they didn't give him a second. They didn't give him the respect or the, you don't even need reverence, but the respect that's given to the office. Being on, I don't know. I have no clue other than YouTube will not allow certain comments. It's not on my end. So, being on, thank you. Tim, they haven't given him a moment They haven't given him even a moment, a second of time to enjoy the presidency. President Obama had a failed NATO intervention in Libya that now there are two major factions. Helma! Damn, you look sharp. Thank you. Thank you, Helma. Very nice of you. Very nice of you. Well, I have my hair now because I'm going to grow a mullet pretty soon because there's no if I have to grow a mullet, I'm going to be very upset. But I'll try to do something with the hair that I have because I think hair salons soon in Los Angeles. Helma, when are hair salons Los Angeles? When are they opening? LA restaurants, barbers can reopen. Oh my God. I need to get a haircut. I won't chop it off, but I'll do something with it. I just need a haircut. I need a haircut. Helma, thank you. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. But Tim and Lisa, you got me thinking about if the media and Democrats treated Trump with just a little, there has never been a president that has had to deal with such utter contempt. I'm talking not just contempt for him, his supporters. They tried to marginalize, they still are, all his supporters. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to get into it. I'm telling you, I have seen and I have witnessed the most rabid. I don't even want to get into it. Don't ever speak to anyone who doesn't like Trump about politics. Ever. It's not going to work out. So, Tim, thank you. Lisa Lister. Lisa, thank you. I think it's a tremendous tragedy what took place with George Floyd. A tremendous tragedy. And Eric Garner. And it's something that can't happen, that shouldn't happen in 2020. It should never happen anytime. But if you are placed with unlimited power, unlimited authority over your fellow human being, then if you take a life and it's unjust, then you have to pay the consequences if it's unjust. And there was no reason when you have a person asking to breathe for that policeman not to take his knee off the person's neck. So, and again, it's not a left-right thing, but it just happens to be in a democratic machine. Bill Abrams III. How much did Joe make starring in Poltergeist? Bill Abrams III. Not as much as Burisma. In between Burisma and his work with other countries. Bill Abrams III. I mean, you look right now, all they have is Trump's tweets. That's it. I mean, really, that's just really all they have. You can't. Here's the issue. You need something. This is one of the reasons that Hillary Clinton's going to be nominated. I know I will have made the biggest political call of all time. You need, I can be the first female president. You could be the first female president. Didn't we do this already? Yes, we did this, but we can do this again. It's the centennial of the 19th Amendment. It's the centennial of the 19th Amendment. Yes, oh my God. Well, why do we need Tales from the Crypt when we have Madam Secretary? She almost won, and if it wasn't for the Russians, she would have won. Oh my. So that is a lot better than vote for Biden because he wants the cure to be worse than the problem. And he deliberately tanked his campaign the other day with the "you ain't" comment. So I'm telling you, if there's any imbeciles here from Madam Secretary's campaign, I'm trying to help you, okay? I'm trying to help you because I know there's no way that President Trump could be defeated. So just listen to me. Sooner rather than later, have Madam Secretary just enter the race, enter the contest. Don't just wait for the convention. Get the articles in the New York Times and the Washington Post going. Get your favorite journalists. Get them published in the opinion sections. Say, we need Hillary. Yes, we need Hillary. You know the person. And then get it rolling. Why wait? Why are you waiting? Why are you waiting? Read my Times of Israel article and read my Huffington Post. It's the only chance. I give Clinton a 20% chance. 15%. The longer they go on with the charade, notice how I don't think anyone's going to be talking about Amy Klobuchar as nominee anymore, or vice president anymore. Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. But they need to hurry up because if your only thing is look what Trump said, and by the way, Tulsi Gabbard drops defamation suit against Madam Secretary. I don't know why, but very likely because Congresswoman Gabbard knows that Hillary is going to be nominee and running again. So, but the fact that I give her a lot of respect. The fact that she went after, you always have to go after people that try to go after you. That's what you have to do in life, generally. Sometimes you just let it be. But most of the time, you defend yourself. So, then they have the audacity to start tweeting about, the Democrats, they don't even see the irony. They tweet about the tragedy in Minneapolis, but it's a Democratic-run state and city, so they don't get it. They don't get it at all. And where's the legislation after Eric Garner? Where was the I wrote endlessly in the Huffington Post that there needs to be legislation to protect black citizens, and I wrote about the Second Amendment. So anyway, it's the only thing they have. It's the only thing they have. It is literally the only thing they have. And you know what the good thing though is? You have to think this way, ladies and gentlemen. All 369 people. Lisa Lister, everyone here. Do not care who Democrats vote for, and I know you don't, because the Trump supporters do not care. If Democrats wanted to go into a Space Force module and fly out of the planet outside of the planet, I wouldn't care. If they wanted to go ahead, if they want to worship a statue of Hillary, I don't care. I don't care either way. If they think that their policies are moral, or you think, President Trump is immoral, I really don't care what they think. What I care about is when they judge or try to condemn me or other people. Then it's annoying, but even then I don't care because I don't really need their approval about anything. The thing I do care about is setting up and framing Trump. So that's bad. You can't do that. You can't set up and frame President Trump and innocent people around him like Michael Flynn and George Papadopoulos and Carter Page. You can't do that. And I care about Democrats keeping Americans in never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. Bill Abrams III. Joe needs Napoleon Dynamite to run his campaign. Napoleon Dynamite is one of the great movies of all time. Vote for Pedro. I'm voting for Pedro. It's one of the great... Bill Abrams, Are You My Long Lost Cousin? It's one of the great movies of all time. Napoleon Dynamite is definitely one of the great movies of all time. Where... what is it? His brother or his cousins? Like, this karate expert? That's so funny. But yeah, I mean, you look at everything taking place, and this is typical. New York Times, Twitter had been drawing a line for Trump drawing a line for months when Trump crossed it. Oh, okay, but so Democrats did not cross it by claiming with absolute categorical claims that Trump worked with Russia, or that we should even be suspicious of Trump working with Russia. So we should be suspicious about Trump working with Russia because an intelligence official from the previous administration has confidence that it could have happened, but President Trump has confidence that mail-in ballots would lead to voter fraud, and then that's a line that's crossed? Oh, okay, I see how it goes. Look, the United States is a classroom, and the media is a substitute teacher that's picking on one student and allowing everyone else to get away with, anything they want to. Everyone knows what's going on. They know the media is not fair. They know Democrats don't care about any specific value system. They know that Democrats are going to engage in the most rabid hyperbolic accusations. And they say like, oh, well, Michael Flynn, he colluded. No, he didn't collude. You're negotiating. You're not colluding. I mean, these buzzwords, collusion, contacts, improper contacts. The fate of the DNC or the political viability or success of Democrats is not national security. President Trump is going to win in November. And when he does, it will validate and vindicate every single thing that we have been saying. And I wrote about it, and he's going to defeat Hillary Clinton again. The only chance they have is Hillary Clinton. Biden is not even a candidate. The Tales from the Crypt guy is more of a candidate. Looks better. But and I mean, Twitter's going to lose this because if you fact check Trump, you don't fact check Democrats under the premise that Democrats don't lie. They don't write deceitful statements. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So they don't write things that are not true? Is that how it works? Is that how it works, ladies and gentlemen? Does that make any sense at all? When did America become afraid to debate? Larry Whitaker! HAFB has stopped notifying our entertainment group of posts. We've moved to Discord. Any thoughts on digital suppression of free speech? What happens if and when you are more heavily censored? Larry, what I do generally is, for me, I have this is going to be kind of a funny answer. For me and my channel and my voice, because I'm published in, reputable places, The Federalist, a whole bunch of places, the Jerusalem Post, the Times of Israel. I've been published in The Hill, Daily Caller, Huffington Post, Salon. So I've been published in a whole lot of places. I will be published in the same type places in the future. I have, my voice is protected a bit because I back up my arguments and my thoughts with published articles, but mainly my personality is just amusing enough / annoying to where people are interested in what I have to say, but also I can kind of speak about topics that I speak about. I can speak about topics that aren't really controversial from the YouTube guidelines and still be interesting. So, like, there are certain topics that other creators talk about that they can't talk about. But, those have to deal with cultural issues. So I don't really talk about cultural issues unless it's like, 80s movies or, it's like certain cultural issues. So my sweet spot, I'm pretty much a pull hitter, and I'm going to, line everything to left field, or hopefully sometime this is going to be over the fence out of the stadium when Clinton becomes president. But I have a very narrow focus. My focus is President Trump, William Barr, John Durham, Clinton becoming nominee, other issues. So I don't really. If you look at the headlines of my YouTube segments, the headlines on this channel are like milquetoast, benign. On H.A. Goodman's other channel, they're a little bit more risque, but still within guidelines. And then I changed my Bizarro World Goodman. I'm not going to do the shtick anymore. Bill Abrams III, Hillary's posture from Billy Jack. You know what? Did I see Billy Jack? Bill Abrams, thank you. But Larry, the issue with the censorship is the following. If you are a creator, and I don't really fall into the category that's going to be really, hampered by censorship, although even I am, it is always issues you have to deal with, but I'm kind of below the radar because what I talk about is vanilla but interesting. If you're a creator that can't talk about certain topics, then you have to find, Spotify. So Joe Rogan, $100 million deal with Spotify. But, you have to branch out. So, and, even me, I'm doing fine on my 3 YouTube channels, growing the third one. So the third one, the Bizarro World Goodman, is going to be fact-checking Democratic tweets, and I'll start next week. So everyone here, my Bizarro World Goodman is actually going to be turned into fact-checking Democratic tweets. So I'm just going to pick tweets every single day, and maybe I'll do like 5-minute segments, so it'll be quicker, and I'll just fact-check those. I'll just fact-check those tweets. But Larry, that's an interesting question. I hope I answered that. Do-Re-Mi Music Honolulu! Saw 70s movie Gator. Yeah, nice. Burt Reynolds subplot: young righteous college communist getting harassed by Bible Belt. Same vibe as Smokey the Bandit. Yeah. Yes. Not really. The last sentence. They're not. They think that they have political influence over society, but I believe that. Do-Re-Mi Music. I believe. Thank you again. Do-Re-Mi Music. I think that political influence goes in cycles. So what you're seeing now is a feeble and futile attempt at trying to counter President Trump. Doesn't work because their contempt for Trump is going to do them in. The Bush-era Republicans and media in the early 2000s tried to control the narrative, even the cultural narrative, to an extent, as much as they could, being Republicans. Democrats generally have more of or Hollywood, let's say. But see, Hollywood movies are losing money, or they're losing, it was like profits, adjusted for inflation. I forgot exactly the metric, but Hollywood is doing horribly now. Nobody is seeing movies, and it's the fault of producers and writers that what they try to do is they try to teach morality. I don't care what any Hollywood producer or movie or any remake has to tell me about anything. So, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you all. Thank you as always. I'll be back this evening. God bless you. Thank you. Stay safe. Understand that this election is going to be a very tumultuous time. Don't be surprised or underestimate the level of vitriol coming at you from Democrats, the left. Don't be surprised. Just, if you're not surprised, you've already won half the battle. The next step is never respond. And wait till November. And after November, we're going to have another term of President Trump. Democrats are not going to win, but they could come close. I mean, Hillary Clinton could come close, or she has a 20% chance, I'd say, of winning. It's not going to be Biden. This is a bigger. You think Amy Klobuchar dropping out right before Minnesota, and Amy Klobuchar ever being in the running for any national, well, aside from senator, but I mean, you see what's taking place now, and you see that Klobuchar is one of the reasons this tragedy took place. I don't even want to get into it, but if you look it up, she's one of the reasons. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, God bless. I'll be back at like around 9:30, 10 p.m. this evening. Be here on the live stream, 9:30, 10 p.m. I have a very poignant segment on H.A. Goodman's other channel. People, thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Stay safe. Stay safe, everyone. And yes, I am definitely looking forward to the SpaceX launch. And Hank, thank you. And I'll see you tonight, everyone. About 10 p.m. Pacific. Thanks, everybody. God bless.